views on the topic? We will take two questions after Ashish Ji finishes.
How much time do you have? Am I audible? Was my reading? Yes, sir. So I would begin with thanking the management of Ambedkar University and ABVP for giving me this opportunity of speaking on an issue which is naturally very close to my heart. I've been introduced as an expert of Kashmir, but I would slightly differ there. I am no expert, I am a Kashmiri. So therefore, I don't look at Kashmir from an outsider's perspective. I come from Kashmir. I belong to Kashmir. Several generations of my ancestors, going back to the ancient past of Kashmir, come from Kashmir. So I'm as Kashmiri as it gets. Therefore, I will present what in anthropology would be called, I think, an ethnic perspective rather than an ethic perspective. So, before I get into the meat of the topic, I will first tender anticipatory apology if whatever I say comes across as offensive to some people who may hold a different view, because naturally, we live in a diverse country and different people have different views. But I would simply exercise my freedom of expression to, especially to the university that we named after the great Bharat. And it was only fitting that we talk about a subject, the removal of Article 370, although technically it is not removal, it has been made inoperative in the legal sense, but for layman's purpose, it's actually removal. So removal of Article 370, and I'm speaking here, named after a university, after Ambedkar, who was completely opposed to the whole concept of introducing this part of the constitution. Now, Shri began and made my work very easy because I don't have to get into the nitty-gritties of history and the labyrinth and the confusion that comes with any discussion on Kashmir, especially Article 370 and legal provisions which enabled it. But I will just basically touch upon a few things, which is that, like Shri said, Article 370, if you look at, if you study the cursory study of this provision, will tell you that Article 370 was a stopgap arrangement, it was a temporary provision, which was supposed to be there if the state adopted its own constitution, which happened in 1956. But due to various machinations inside the state, various political actors, including the famous Sheikh Abdullah, it somehow happened that the Constituent Assembly got dissolved and the state constitution got adopted, and no one really looked at Article 370 because of the politics involved. But for all practical purposes, and if you look at it very logically, the adoption of the Constitution of India followed by the adoption of the state constitution by J&K, you will clearly see that it was supposed to be a stopgap. But in the past, I have, wherever I have spoken on this topic, I've been kind of agnostic towards this whole line of reasoning, whether it was temporary, whether it was permanent, because it doesn't really matter. I mean, the law is meant to serve the people are not meant to serve the law. And if the law is not in tune with the will of the people of India, then it makes no sense in any case. So it is the will of the people of India which has been enacted right now, and the article has been made inoperative. Secondly, in the sum and substance of the article was that the Union government could not make laws with respect to the concurrent and the state lists without the consent and without the consultation with the state government. That was all there was to it. But in due course, several amendments were made to the constitution of the state, and practically most of the provisions of the Indian constitution were applicable on the state of Jammu and Kashmir as well. So Article 370 really served just one single purpose, which is why its weakening or it being made inoperative has created a huge uproar in certain sections of the society. Now, the meaning, this was a brief history, Sushil has already explained much better than me how it came about, what it meant. But the meaning of Article 370 really was that in tandem with Article 35A, which is another provision which has been made redundant, it became a slogan for the Muslim domination of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. If you look at the history of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, like Sushil was pointing out that when we look at India, all the important positions in the government, the heads of the state, the Chief Justice of India, the Chief of Armed Forces, these are positions of command, these are positions where the individual has a huge bearing on the course of a nation state's progress. And these are positions where Muslims have risen. But if you look at the history of look at the list of the chief ministers of Jammu and Kashmir, you will find that there have always been chief ministers from Kashmir and not from there, not from Bharat. And these chief ministers have always been Muslim. Now, nothing inherently wrong with that, but any reasonable person would question this and say that why is it so that if half of the state belongs to different people, the Dogra people, the Bharat, the Gujarats and all that, and there is just a small part of the state which is Muslim dominated. Why is it that only the chief minister only comes from that part of the state? Why is it never uttered the other way? Because of the time. Now, the consequence of this, now we are clear about the meaning of in layman's terms, we are not talking about legality, in terms of meaning. इसका हमारा जीवन है उसमें क्या फर्क पड़ता है? तो उसका consequence क्या है? उसका consequence ये था that right from the start, right from the time that this provision came into being, it encouraged a feeling of separation in the minds of the people of the state, especially in the valley. They believe that they are somehow special because they've been given that special treatment, like preferential treatment. Like Thomas Sowell once said that if you are used to preferential treatment, equal treatment will seem like discrimination. So we had this big walkout who said that Article 370 was the only relationship. It was completely devoid of facts, right? But then that is how you feel when something which is given special रोज आपको चॉकलेट मिलेगा या चॉकलेट नहीं मिलेगा तो आपको लगेगा मेरे साथ थोड़ा गलत है. So that kind of stuff has happened here. Now the problem is that what in terms of concrete things, in terms of what we see, ये abstract बातों की बात नहीं. हमने क्या देखा? आर्टिकल 370 था, उसकी वजह से एक फीलिंग की स्टेज में वहां के लोगों का एक माइंडसेट बना, उसकी वजह से हुआ, उसकी वजह से ये हुआ कि 5 लाख लोगों को रातों रात निकाला, उनको भागना पड़ा. So this forced eviction of a certain community from the valley is a direct outcome of the mindset which Article 370 encouraged. Now, Article 370 is not, let me be very clear, it is not responsible for that mindset, but it is responsible for encouraging that mindset. उसके seeds पहले होंगे, उसके seeds किसी और चीज में हो सकते हैं, बीज के रूप में पहले था, लेकिन उसको पानी देने का काम Article 370 के अलगाववाद नहीं है. तो one is that forced eviction of Hindus from the valley. Second is the gross neglect of Jammu and Ladakh provinces. जब मैं कश्मीर में रहता था और हम लोग मुल्ला की और मस्जिद तक हम लोग छुट्टियों के लिए जम्मू जाते हैं. मिडिल क्लास फैमिली से हम स्विट्जरलैंड जाते जम्मू तक जाते हैं. सर्दियों की छुट्टियां होती थी जम्मू पहुंच के ऐसा लगता था कि हम किसी गाँव आ गए. तो मैं अपने भारत से मुझे पूछता था कि ये इतना अलग क्यों है, यहाँ सड़कें इतनी खराब क्यों है, यहाँ पे लोग उस तरह की एजुकेशन क्यों नहीं है यहाँ? क्योंकि वो सिस्टमैटिकली उनको दबाए रखा गया था. उनको जम्मू के लोगों को कभी पावर नहीं मिला, कभी पावर का टेस्ट नहीं मिला. जम्मू के लोगों को कभी जो बेनिफिट्स हैं प्रोग्रेस के वो नहीं मिले, क्योंकि सारे के सारे फंड्स जो थे जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट अलॉट करती थी स्टेट को, वो कश्मीर को डाइवर्ट हो जाते थे. क्योंकि कश्मीर स्पेशल है. तो ठीक है, वो खुशी रहेंगे. जहां पे ज्यादा जरूरत है वो कश्मीर है, इसलिए कश्मीर में डाल. तो कश्मीर एक बिल्कुल अलग लेवल पे. और यहाँ पे एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट आता है, वो है इस बात का कि कश्मीर के लोग वहां जॉब्स नहीं थे, वहां पर गरीबी है, वहां पर करप्शन है, ये सब ठीक है। हमारे देश में जो गवर्नेंस है एक बड़ा कॉम्प्लेक्स इशू है, इतनी जनसंख्या है, the country is so diverse, there are so many administrative issues, अगर आपको राशन भी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना है उसमें ही 10 लोग हैं, there is massive complexity. So वो कुछ डिफरेंट कश्मीर में नहीं था. The same, in fact, unemployment in other states is much higher, at least was. So this whole narrative of this being the reason for the violence in the state is completely baseless. On the contrary, it was pampered. So pampered, आप ये जरूर कह सकते हैं कि आपको सर पे बिठा दिया इसलिए वहां पे इतनी वायलेंस हुई, इतना अज्ञापन हुआ, ये आप कह सकते हैं किसी डिग्री ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ, लेकिन ये कहना कि वहां अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं थी इसलिए हुआ, ये बिल्कुल सर्टिफिकेट डिग्री है. Now, what is the removal of Article 370 mean? And again, I will make a distinction between what it means to fellow Indians and what it means to my community. I think when this announcement was made, हमारे ऑफिस में सेलिब्रेशन हुआ, तो हमने सोशल मीडिया पर भी शेयर किया, लड्डू बांटे गए, समोसे खाए, बहुत मजे किए, एंड कॉज ऑफ फीलिंग डिलाइट. बट व्हेन आई लुक बैक, मैं अपनी फीलिंग देखता हूँ, तो आई वाज सेलिब्रेटिंग एज एन इंडियन, नॉट एज अ कश्मीरी, नॉट एज अ कश्मीरी पीपल, बिकॉज फॉर मी इट डजंट मेक अ डिफरेंस. मेरे जीवन में कोई असर नहीं होने वाला. The mindset which forced us to leave from the valley, the conditions that were there, they remain. और ये एक बहुत जरूरी बात है, ये this is a very important distinction that everyone who's concerned about Kashmir must make in their minds, that Article 370 was only a legal provision. It was only something which was a barrier to the free flow of Indian Constitution, and this has been removed. So therefore, now the Constitution is applicable in its entirety, and the Indian state can now actually start solving the problem of Kashmir. Therefore, Article 370 was a barrier to solving Kashmir, not the problem itself. Right? So there is a distinction there. It was a barrier to solving the problem of Kashmir, not the problem itself. Now that Article 370 has been removed, now we need to look at what the next steps are going to be. Right? If it is just removal of Article 370 and celebration, then it makes no difference at all. So, the real issue, as far as you and I as Indian citizens are concerned, is the reclamation of Kashmir for the Indian civilization. And I use the words very carefully. This is not a political problem. This is a problem of civilizations. This is a civilizational clash in Huntington's words. This is a problem of religion, of peaceful coexistence between different religions, right? And therefore, the reclamation of Kashmir has to happen from a civilizational perspective, and that can be measured, right? So, ये तो abstract होता है, civilizational perspective. How do you actually judge whether this has happened or this is happening or not? That can only be measured if Kashmiri Hindus can go back to the valley and live with honor and dignity without a fear on their lives. Right? That has not changed. So, the question ultimately comes to, and I will be very, we've already exceeded the time, but the question comes to, this is important, the question really comes to in concrete terms, it is about demographic composition. Everyone talks about, and this is politically incorrect to say, people will say a lot of things, but ultimately this is about demographic composition. Why did Hindus have to leave from Kashmir? Because they were severely outnumbered. They were just a handful of people living in small areas, and they were threatened, and some rapes happened, some killings happened. They left. They had no muscle power to fight back. A lot of people say, why did Hindus not pick up the guns and they should have answered or Amir and or ye and over. That is not possible. That does not happen when you are severely outnumbered. Right? You are just 1 in 100, 2 in 100. Cover. And you are not, at that time, जब peak पे militancy थी तो कश्मीर में पाकिस्तान से भी फंड आते थे, बाहर के देशों से सपोर्ट था, गन्स थी, एम्यूनिशन था, वो कौन बाकी हम लोगों को कौन देता है? यहाँ पे आप लोग बैठे हैं, आपके पास कोई एक्सेस है क्या? तो so same thing, your neighbor has done, so you don't, you are, then you better leave. So that demographic composition is the actual battle, and that battle I don't really know how the state is going to fight. Honestly, I think there has to be very, very clear thinking about this from the government and from the informed citizenry, like the students here. When you discuss, I think it has to be put in the right perspective. What is the problem of Kashmir? What is this Article 370 all about? Gaya ho gaya, matlab it's gone. And as far as I know from the discussions I've had with my friend, good friend J. Deepak, he tells me that the way in which this has been done, there is a good possibility that even the Supreme Court does not have jurisdiction over the reversal of what has happened, because this is actually a problem of this is actually done in the premise of the instrument of taxation, for which only the president is has the lowest standard. So therefore, now how the mindset of the people of the valley is going to change. In real terms, it can only change when they meet people from the state, from outside the state. When they interact with the past in a non-Bharat state. We all know कि पाकिस्तान में किस तरह की हिस्ट्री पढ़ाई जाती है। पाकिस्तान में ये बताया जाता है कि हम गाजियों की औलादे हैं और हमने इस तरह दुख किया है, और ये जो दिल्ली थे इन लोगों को हमने हमेशा दबा के रखा, और इसी तरह ये जगह ही है, वो इंसान ही नहीं, वो सब ह्यूमन। तो ऐसी टाइप की हिस्ट्री जो है, यही माइंडसेट कश्मीर के लोगों का भी है। अब इसको आप कवर कैसे करेंगे? इसको आप कैसे विदाउट concrete steps, without the state fully backing and fully embracing its civilizational identity? आप जब तक ये नहीं बोलते कि आप 5000 साल पुरानी civilization है, हम बात करेंगे तुमसे, तब तक कैसे होगा? तब तक आप ये बोलते रहेंगे। One thing, please know that vikas and progress has been rejected by the people of Kashmir. That is why I have been telling you that in the 60s and the 70s, Kashmir was heaven on earth in terms of material progress. Kashmir had everything that even the rest of the states of India did not have. Yet it was rejected. You go on YouTube and search for any rally which has happened there. Sayyid Ali Shah Gilani speaks, and he speaks of हमें जमहूरियत नहीं चाहिए, हमें तुम्हारे रोड और ये कंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं चाहिए, हमें तुम्हारे जॉब्स नहीं चाहिए, हमें क्या चाहिए? निजाम मुस्तफा। तो ये क्लैरिटी जो वहां है लोगों में, वो ही सेम उस क्लैरिटी को समझना इंडियन लोगों के लिए बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है। और ये जब तक नहीं होगा तो स्टेट क्या करेगा? सो पीपल ऑफ इंडिया मस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दैट वी आर डीलिंग विद अ प्रॉब्लम विच इज, अगर उसकी एनालॉजी दी जाए तो डॉक्टर B.S. रामचंद्रन की बुक है फैंटम इन द ब्रेन, वेयर इट टॉक्स अबाउट फैंटम लिम्ब। फैंटम लिम्ब क्या होता है कि अगर आप किसी तरह बदकिस्मती से हाथ कट गया तो ब्रेन को ऐसे सिग्नल मिलते हैं एम्पुटेटेड लिम्ब से कि उसे लगता है कि मेरा हाथ भी है, और वो हाथ अगर वो चलता भी है तो अगर वो स्पेस टकरा भी जाती है तो उसे एक्चुअली दर्द होता है, राइट? सो ये रिवर्स, देयर इज अनदर एलिमेंट, दिस इज रिवर्स ऑफ फैंटम लिम्ब, जहां पे आपका लिम्ब है लेकिन आपको लगता है कि वो मेरा है, आप फील करते हो, इट्स नॉट पैरालिसिस, आप फील करते हो उसको, लेकिन आपको ये लगता है कि मेरा लिम्ब नहीं, राइट? नाउ इसमें एनालॉजी काफी दूर जाती है, क्योंकि अगर उस फैंटम लिम्ब को आपको सही करना होता है तो आप यहाँ सही नहीं करते, आप उसको साइकोलॉजिकली सही करते हो। आप बहुत इनोवेटिव अप्रोचेस हैं, आई वुड एनकरेज पीपल हैव टू रीड दैट बुक, फैंटम इन द ब्रेन। बड़े इनोवेटिव अप्रोचेस हैं जिसमें यू एक्चुअली फूल योर माइंड टू बिलीव दैट दिस इज अ पार्ट और दिस इज नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ माय लाइफ, राइट? सो अ सिमिलर इनोवेशन इज रिक्वायर्ड फ्रॉम द स्टेट, फ्रॉम द इंडियन स्टेट। Military power will not do it, appeasement will not do it, vikas will not do it. It is only when the Indian state embraces its civilizational identity and says that we are talking of a 5,000-year-old history. We are a continuous running, only surviving pagan civilization, and we will stay that way. Then we will talk to people. अगर आपके अपने लोगों को ये नहीं पता कि अभिनव गुप्त का कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन क्या है भारत के इंटेलेक्चुअल ग्रोथ में, भारत की स्पिरिचुअल थॉट में, तो आप कश्मीरियों को क्या दोष दोगे? उन्हें तो वैसे ही डॉक्यूमेंट कर दिया जाता है पैदा होते, तो आप उनको क्या बताओगे कि आपको हमारे साथ क्यों आता है? यू हैव नथिंग टू ऑफर if you stand up for yourself, then you speak with them, then you speak as equals. So, I will end with just from my perspective again. कश्मीरी पंडितों का 3 ऑप्शंस है, और जैसा मैंने कहा कि you can see this as a concrete, visible measure of success of India's Kashmir policy. Article 370 has gone, now gone. And the only real success of this step is going to be the rehabilitation of Kashmiri Hindus along with other Hindus. Because it will not happen only for Kashmiri Hindus. Right? Because Kashmiri Hindus are a handful of people. अब तो स्कैटर हो चुके हैं दुनिया में, कनाडा, यूएस, कहीं पे बहुत जगह है. जो भारत में बचे हैं, those are a handful of people. But that is your measure. उनको वापस आप कभी देख सकते हो जब आपके पास एक एक्टिव प्लान है to restore the demographic balance of the valley, which has been changing from 14th century. In fact, before that, it continues. So people say Kashmiri Hindus का genocide नहीं है, क्योंकि 90 में तो करीब 300-400 लोग ऑफिशियली मरे हैं. मैं मानता हूँ 800 भी मर गए हो यार, 800 जेनोसाइड होता है? नहीं, जेनोसाइड नहीं. और हम एक दिन की, एक महीने की, एक साल की बात नहीं करते. अगर आप 13वीं शताब्दी से आज की बात करोगे तो आपको मिलियंस में कत्ल मिलेंगे, मिलियंस में लोगों को बेहद करार दिया गया. राइट? सो दैट constitutes a genocide. It is a scattered genocide, but it is a genocide nonetheless. Right? Now, for Kashmiri Hindus, we have 3 simple points to make. Request to make to the state and to the Indian Congress who care about the civilization integrity, who care about the political integrity of India. One is either give us a roadmap and tell us कि आपको क्या प्लान है, आपके किस तरह आप डेमोग्राफिक इक्वेशन आप वापस बैलेंस कर सकते हो स्टेट की, ताकि लोग वहां जा सकें. डीरेडिकलाइज होता है हमारी पॉपुलेशन और हम लोग वहां से कर सकते हैं. कल नहीं होगा, हो सकता है 5 साल, हो सकता है 10 साल, हो सकता है 20 साल लगता है, लेकिन आप बताइए मुझे. If you cannot do that, then you carve out, which has been our long-standing demand, you carve out Kano Kashmir. Because we, as equal citizens of this nation, and we as people, natives of the valley, have an equal right on the resources and on the land of the valley. Therefore, we carve out a union territory or something for us. जैसे आपने लद्दाख को अलग कर दिया, हमें अपना अलग दे दीजिए. हमारा क्या कसूर है? हमें निकाल दिया गया. अब आप हमको बताओ कि क्या करना है नेक्स्ट. हमारे लिए अलग कार्ड कर दीजिए और बाकी आपको जो डील करना है वो करो. अगर आप ये भी नहीं कर सकते फॉर व्हाटएवर रीजन, बिकॉज़ इट्स अ कॉम्प्लेक्स थिंग, तो हमें कहीं और सेटल करना है एज अ कम्युनिटी. बिकॉज़ फॉर अस लिविंग एज अ कम्युनिटी इज एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट. वी हैव फेस्ड genocide तो अलग है, but for sure we have faced cultural genocide. We don't speak our own language. We have not preserved our own customs because we have been scattered. अगर मैं पंजाबियों, तमिलियंस और कॉस्मोपॉलिटन एनवायरनमेंट में रहता हूँ, तो मेरे पास कश्मीरी कम्युनिटी क्या है जिसके साथ मैं अपने कस्टम्स और ट्रेडिशंस को कंटिन्यू कर सकूं? कोई है नहीं. तो कम्युनल होती है चीज. जब वो नहीं है, so therefore जितने बचे हैं, it is in the interest not only of us, but in the interest of the Indian civilization, of the people of this country, to preserve this identity. And उसके लिए आपको अगर ये करना पड़े कि आप हमें कहीं कश्मीर से बाहर ही सेटल कर दीजिए, तो then that is the last recourse. But do something about it. So I suppose there is much to say. The question answers only to this. Thank you very much.